Welcome to Sports, Clicks, and Politics with your host, Ben Hussong. Forgot to hit the record. You're welcome. Welcome to Sports, Clicks, and Politics with your host, Ben Hussong, and me, Shawn Hannon. Welcome to episode 76 of Sports, Clicks, and Politics. I am Shawn Hannon, joined as always by Ben Hussong. Ben Hussong is joining us remotely again today. Mr. Hussong, how was your weekend? Wonderful. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to enlighten the me and the audience here. So,
I don't. Enlighten's a strong word.
Kind of like mild, like the Omicron virus. We'll get there. Never mind. Yeah. So, uneventful weekend for me. Not really a high caliber sports weekend for any of our teams. I feel like SU took a whooping in a couple places, and my Steelers continue to try to make an effort to get into your bottom five. Hopefully, at some point by the end of the year, they will be glorified in your weakest five or whatever you title your worst five teams in the NFL, because they're quickly approaching that. So, well, anyway, before we get into
that one.
Yeah,
that was one of the
you should be.
I
said that week one.
The Bills lost to them,
and I could see what was coming. I'm not sure how they've actually won 5 games, but before we get into the NFL, make sure that you guys, everybody out there in the lovely audience, the beautiful audience that we do have here at Sports, Clicks, and Politics, make sure to like this video, share this video out onto all your social media accounts there, and send it along to some family and friends who might get a kick out of this. We got quite a regular show topics to cover here, Mr. Hussong, today. The litany is a lot of repeat, a lot of similar or part 2, part 3, part 4 updates of some certain stories here. So before we do that, let's touch a little bit about the NFL. The Bills got a win, yeah? Thanksgiving Day win, yeah?
Yes, they
We
did.
didn't really talk about Thanksgiving. We didn't really talk about Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Made the holiday
did you
all
have
the more
turkey
into
and
it.
mashed potatoes and gravy and all that stuff, or no? Yeah, I did my Thanksgiving on Saturday, but
of course,
did the same thing.
Is it even Thanksgiving if you don't those foods?
Literally, the checklist starts with turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, and gravy, right? And then after there, kind of everybody varies a little bit. But yeah, that's what I had.
Yeah. Then you get into some odd ones that people insist.
I mean, I could eat macaroni and cheese literally on every day, so I'll eat it on Thanksgiving
I don't
too.
know
but
who keeps trying to make this happen.
What about green beans?
That's fine, but let's not pretend like this is a Thanksgiving food. It's not. Green beans, no. If
what about green
casserole,
beans,
I'll give it to
almondine?
you. But green beans, no. Like it's the same as mac and cheese. What?
That was our side dish here at Saturday Thanksgiving here. Green beans, almondine. It's a green beans sautéed and a little bit of onion and slivered almonds and some thyme. A little red pepper flake. It was good, I was told. Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, now that we've covered Thanksgiving sides, can we get back to the Bills?
Yeah, it was a good win. They weren't perfect. Bad news, they lost Tre'Davious White for the season. It's not ideal. He's a very, very excellent cornerback. But the Saints didn't have Jameis Winston. They didn't have Taysom Hill.
Trevor Siemian they had. They had a Trevor Siemian.
Ingram. They did have Trevor Siemian. They didn't have Alvin Kamara. Like, they obviously still don't have Michael Thomas. So it's one of those ones that you're like, all right, you better win this game. Otherwise, let's just call this season over. If you can't beat this team, then it's probably good. And Josh Allen's streak has come to an end, and he threw his first red zone interception of his career this.
So what?
Listen, I think Bills fans everywhere were a little relieved.
Is probably the wrong word, but how do you feel? Do you feel comfortable now that you're looking up at the New England Patriots again? How are they in first place?
No. I don't know. They've
Okay.
had a ridiculous
All right.
schedule. I'm going to go with that. So I'm gonna chalk it up to that. Not that the Bills has been markedly
Yeah,
harder.
any
it's just
other
the Patriots
takeaways other
has
than the
been easy.
Steelers stink and the Bills got a win that they should have win and somehow they're behind the Patriots again? All thing is right in the world or something like that?
Yeah. No, listen. The Cowboys keep finding ways to lose.
The Packers still look really good to me. I know you weren't sold early on, but I feel
Packers
like
are really
they might
good.
be the team.
It's possible. You know who I was wrong
Yeah,
on?
I mean,
was the Rams.
Obviously they got Odell, so maybe that'll. I mean, they played the Packers, so I can't. I mean,
yeah. When hasn't that been?
They played the Packers. They played the best team. They lost. It's hard for me to ridicule them too much, but.
No, I get it. I was much higher on the Rams. I was like insisting that they should be at least
they were probably in there at least
top
1
5,
week,
and
I
I was wrong.
Now they're 7-4, not so much.
Yeah. No, they've been very pedestrian. I still think they'll be a dangerous.
Yeah, if they can get
team
Odell
for anybody
up to speed,
play in the playoffs.
You know, their running back is decent, Henderson, and like I said, Stafford's playing probably this. You know, I don't know about fantasy or stat wise, whatever you want to label it, but I mean, this is probably the first time where he's probably felt he's been on a team where it's like, oh my God, I might actually be able to win some things here. Like I'm actually, you know, optimistic. I mean, even when you're in the Lions, when you were winning games and it probably made the playoffs. I think twice. I think maybe they did, but maybe once. I don't even know. But either way, they couldn't have felt too confident either way when they were entering the playoffs. Like we're not going to win. This is just fun to be here. But the Rams, I feel like that team is probably something. So I don't know. We'll see what happens to them in the future. I think they're not my top 5 by any means, but they're still a high upside playoff team. I feel like I wouldn't give up on them so quickly.
Yeah, think about how bad the Lions
Sounds like you've quit on them.
are.
Yeah, no.
The Lions are bad. Like historically, I mean, they had Matthew Stafford with Calvin Johnson for better part
they had
of the
Barry
decade.
Sanders. They didn't do anything either.
Oh my God, that's true. What organization has wasted more perennial talent than the Detroit Lions?
Some recon on that, but
I mean, the Jets waste a lot of talent.
The
Bills never had much talent to waste, to be fair.
At least it's indoors.
Yeah, they want to go to Detroit.
All right. So, any other things of note strike out in the NFL Week 12 here, or do you want me to rattle off my top 5 are pretty mundane. I'm gonna put my Patriots in the top 5 just to spite you, but they're in.
Oh, don't be
that guy. They took out the Titans.
You're the worst.
Packers.
You're the worst.
Stay number 1.
Go ahead. Who else?
Followed by the Cardinals. Do they play tonight or are they off this week? Do you remember who plays tonight? Do you know? I could probably look here.
Seahawks play
terrible.
the Washington football team.
Really? That's
tonight.
the Monday night game? Wow. What do they got? Combined 7 wins. Nice. Packers, Cardinals. I liked what I saw of the Buccaneers yesterday. I'm putting Buccaneers with a bullet back up to number 3. I think they had fallen out of my top 5 2 weeks ago, but they're back in it. I have the New England Patriots at number 4. Winners of 6 in a row. Hottest team in the NFL. Mac Jones, right? Is that his name? Bill Belichick. Is Bill Belichick still there?
That's his name.
Sweet. And then I'm going to round out that top 5 with the new addition, the Ravens, Baltimore Ravens. Another team who's won a couple games in a row. Yeah. I figured out their defense a little bit. You know, I figured they would at some point, but mixing it up. A lot of parity again. A lot of teams between 8-4, 7-4, like 6-5. I mean, there's like 10, 12 teams there. So.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
So do I, but I wanted to. If I was ever going to give a shot to give them in the top 5, this is it. So here they are.
I got you. I don't think they're a top 5 team. I think they're having a good run right now, but they also the most noteworthy wins they have are the Derrick Henry-less Titans, which is still an okay team,
they're on
but
the
not
downside,
the same
sure.
thing
Even at
as
8-4,
beating the Titans with the Browns. And I think the only other team they've beat, there's only one other team with a winner that they've beat. Like everything else is they beat.
So have they played the Bills yet, or you still got 2 of those games coming up?
Congratulations. Play next Monday, and then
nice.
about
this is
2 or 3
must
weeks
see
after
TV.
that, they play again. let me clarify this statement as I'm saying I'm not a believer in the Patriots are that good. I think that we're all overhyping them. I also think that the Bills are not that good either. I'm not saying like
Gotcha.
the Patriots shouldn't be there and put the Bills in. I'm just saying it
Is
seems
this like the opposite of
are
rising
overhyped.
tide lifts all boats kind of thing? Everybody's sinking, and so like there's like, well, we're all just not that good. So like whatever happens, kind of. Okay.
Right. Yeah, kind of. But I think that people want the Patriots to be what.
Don't you want a Patriots Buccaneers Super Bowl? Come on.
Asking for a lot. Not even a little. Listen, I as a Bills fan, I literally had to sit here. Well, every other year in Tom Brady's career, he went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well.
Like that's unbelievable. He has a higher percentage of going to Super Bowls than Steph Curry shooting 3.
No, listen.
That's insane.
He's the greatest, unfortunately. So, all right. Do you want to sock us with your bottom gutter 5 or whatever term you're using today, this week, or whatever? Shitty?
I don't know if I have a term for it necessarily. Yeah, just like they are the bad teams, the worst team.
Okay.
I've only got 4. I think
parody.
Once you get into that, it's just way too splitting hair. Yeah, I couldn't come up with it. I don't even know that the Falcons belong necessarily clearly above, but I went with them anyway because they're like my favorite team to pick on this year. They just keep getting more and more creative with how they lose the game. So they're 4th. I know. That's why I don't even think I could put them in, but like I'm going to because they still stink. And I know
it's your 5.
Probably
it's
worse.
Your 5, Mr. Hussong. You own it.
At this point, you can do it. My 5. All right. Well,
you can even put the Patriots in there.
The one above that is the Jaguars. I mean, I might put the Patriots in there. The Jaguars are the next. Then the Jets, then the Texans, and then of course the
I would put the Steelers
tying
actually
Detroit
in
Lions.
the bottom 5. They're terrible, literally terrible.
I probably could swap the Falcons. That's what I mean. Like that's why I'm hesitant to even go with the Falcons because you could intermix 10 other teams in there, and I can tell you wrong. I can't.
Yeah, all right. Well,
so did the Jaguars.
Right, so let's touch on another sports story here that we haven't really talked about, and not that I can't find another reason why we would, but women's tennis. Anyone? Are you familiar with Peng Shuai? She is a Chinese tennis star. She has also been critical or came out as basically on a social media post. I think it's called Weibo over there. Do you remember what it's called over there? It's like the Facebook of China. It's called Weibo. Yeah.
I believe it is Weibo. Real quick, critical might not be the most apt description for what happened, but I'm curious to see where you're going with this.
She penned a little tell-all on Weibo, the Chinese Facebook, and basically said that she has had a relationship, I think was the translated word, but also was the subject of sexual assault by the vice president of China, I believe it was. He's way up. He's way up there. Maybe number 2. Maybe that's what he is, the vice chair of the CCP. I don't know. He's a high-ranking Chinaman.
It could be. I think that's it, but I'm not sure. A high-ranking
And that
CCP
post lasted all about 15 minutes, and then was taken down, as was all of her social media accounts simultaneously. And then she was unseen for, I don't know, like 10, 12 days. People were wondering. Players were asking. Some of the most popular, famous, tennis men's and women's players in the world are basically saying, "Where's Peng Shuai?" They trotted her out for an interview with the IOC, which seems to have a lot of connections with the CCP. Really, the WTA, the Women's Tennis Association, is the only one even questioning anything, because they paraded her out basically saying, here she is, look at her, she's signing tennis balls at a kids camp or something. But I don't think that the people who are paying attention to this more closely than we are satisfied with the idea that she's still okay. So China back in the news here, now making a way into sports here, maybe kidnapping / something with their tennis star Peng Shuai. What do you think?
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like, I don't want say that she was critical of
Yeah,
the
well,
CCP. Like, she accused the guy of raping her. Like,
multiple times too. This wasn't like this was a series of things.
Yeah, like, and that's not great. And China being China, naturally
She was
just
canceled.
pulled her off, and then the entirety
Literally.
of the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got canceled for real.
Yeah.
Like, holy goodness. And then, of course, our very liberal-minded media immediately took to the streets and started demanding that we should boycott China. We stand up for women's rights and Me Too. Just not that happened at all.
Some players have actually floated the idea because
the
the Winter Olympics are going to be in Beijing. So I feel like there is some hey, we're not satisfied with the outcome of this. There could be some ramifications for the Beijing Winter Olympics. So I don't know. I found it a merging of geopolitical and sports here, and I thought it would be interesting to keep an eye on where is Peng Shuai. I guess that hashtag was trending for a little while, so I don't know until President Xi got a hold of it. Maybe that's why Jack Dorsey resigned. It's probably not.
I mean, I don't know why Jack Dorsey resigned, but it's not going to be good for Twitter. It's not going to be good for people that like freedom of speech on Twitter.
All right, let's switch gears a little bit and still talk about China, but now let's bring in our boy Hunter Biden. So I think I sent you this. Did you see that? I'm going to read this first paragraph here. An investment firm founded by Hunter Biden assisted a Chinese company in purchasing one of the world's richest cobalt mines from an American company for $3.8 billion, helping the conglomerate gain a massive share of the key metal used to making electric car batteries. So, the president, I'll read one more little bit here. President Sun was one of 3 Americans who joined Chinese partners in establishing the Bohai Harvest RST Equity Investment Fund, a lot of words, management company, more words, or BHR in 2013. So apparently this company that your boy Hunter Biden founded and ran and used his name to cozy up with some of his other boys, the Chinese, and decided to facilitate a sale of one of the richest cobalt mines in the world here. So energy guru Hunter Biden strikes at it again here with the cobalt mining here, helping out the he is immersed in the energy, right? So what do we do with this guy?
I mean, listen, world-renowned artist, energy extraordinaire as far as consultants go. What else do we got for his titles?
Yeah.
Pharmaceutical aficionado.
Yeah. I mean,
we can safely say that.
Can't wait till we find that second laptop.
Amateur adult film star. And
so this kind of goes back to the idea that we were talking about, and a lot of people have been talking about how Hunter has basically used his last name to facilitate his own for personal wealth to the tune of probably billions of dollars at this point, facilitating all those Renaissance man activities that he partakes in because his bankroll is gigantic. So I don't know. I guess just more labeling of this is the most terrible human being on the planet, Hunter Biden. Is that possible? Until we get to the end of the show?
It's possible. It's not. Ghislaine Maxwell's still alive. Yeah, until we get to the end of the show, he's pretty awful. And he's pretty awful on his own right, don't get me wrong, but that's a different level that we'll talk about later. It's really, really depressing. Like, when you start looking into what is required for all of this, I mean, specifically mining cobalt in African countries is horrific work. And it's oftentimes done as slave labor and forced child labor. And I mean, it's really, really awful work. I remember reading into this at one point pre-Hunter Biden and him facilitating China buying the mine. Of what went into it, for you to have a cell phone, like, what had to happen? And I read, I don't remember where the article was. I'll see if I can dig it up. But I just I finished reading it. I set it down and I was like, is it possible for me to not have a phone? I don't part of this. Like, could I get by in my life without owning a cell phone at the point? Could I do my job? Could I do all this? And the answer was no, I can't realistically.
Yeah. Well,
it was
like I said,
but at
yeah,
least China owns the biggest firm now, so I'm sure
They'll
they'll
all
have
do better
types of
off,
new
I'm sure.
humanitarian measures.
Hunter Biden back in the news. We're still waiting for that second laptop. Can't wait for that to happen. At least the second laptop. Who knows how many there are actually? I guess. But,
oh yeah.
All right.
Can we talk about that for a quick second? About just for anybody who was unaware of, like, they stole that laptop from him, and they literally had to clear an entire party out of a hotel room because they're convinced he had drowned in a hotel hot tub. He was laying face down hot tub for like an hour, and then he just popped up. Was like,
he
what's
is
happening?
A superhero. He's a superhero of all superheroes.
He's some.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He's a super villain.
Let's speaking of supervillains, Bill Gates. So I want to give who is this? Mint Press News. They wrote this article. They put together all this information here. I found it quite entertaining. I think I shared this with you. So, documents show Bill Gates has given $319 million to media outlets. So, $319 million to media outlets. This is the philanthropist and world-saving saint Bill Gates. $319 million to media outlets. Now, this was done through grants, and the grants came with certain stipulations. To get the money, you had to cover certain topics in a certain way. So, I don't know. Let's talk about, I mean, some of the stuff, it seems mundane, depending on, gender equities, he's talking about, if you want to write a story about that, you get something. But some of the stuff that I feel like is probably most pertinent is the stipulations of writing about health issues, Mr. Hussong. So Bill Gates gave money to news outlets to write articles about health issues that he was promoting, basically. So do we think that those articles were done objectively? Let me give her just a quick list of some of the media organizations that are on this list, and I'll leave some of it. So NPR, $24 million, almost $25 million. The Guardian, $13 million. Let's see here. Der Spiegel, $5.5 million. It's like some local one. WETA, I think that's in Los Angeles, $4.5 million. NBC Universal, $4 million. BBC, $3 million. CNN, $3 million. KCET, no, that's the one that's in L.A. So there's a couple even local based. I'm sure they're big, like Chicago, New York, L.A. Things. So I say local, but they're big local. Sure. So these are basically dry. I mean, but Al Jazeera, ProPublica, PBS, Gannett. I mean, there's a list of like 50 news medias here, and I'm not going to read them all. You guys can check out the link in the description to read the whole article and check out the list. But that's not all, Mr. Hussong. Not just directly to media outlets. He also donated to investigative journalism centers, totaling it, and this was about, of the $319 million, this all accumulated to $319 million. $38 million, some of it went to the International Center of Journalists, the Pulitzer Center of Crisis Reporting. So not only was he directly funding news organizations, he was directly funding journalists who would report on certain things. Also some organizations like the Education Writers Association, the National Newspapers Public Association, each got $6 million or $3 million, depending on which. The National Press Foundation got $2 million. Washington News Council got $700,000. So he has spread out his wealth, and I'm not done, to, I want to say, cover his ass. But here, how about a couple, Johns Hopkins University, Columbia University, Cal Berkeley. These are all to the journalism programs for these schools. Also, Seattle University, Rhodes University. We have the World Health Organization also got money here. I mean, he basically funded everything that was reporting on anything where he could get his angle played into the narrative. So, Mr. Hussong, it must be nice to be Bill Gates. You can just buy the media coverage that you want. I mean, obviously he's the richest guy in the world, or second or third, or whatever he is now, but who's counting zeros at this point? He can literally do anything he wants, and he's basically buying them. He's buying the media coverage that he wants.
Well, he couldn't buy it his marriage to stay together. Hey-o.
Yeah, hopefully.
So we'll get later at the end of the show.
I mean, this is troubling, right? I mean, there should be some kind of a disconnect here. I mean, it should be. You'd think that on the surface, like, okay, we need to donate to media and whatever. But it should be no strings attached reporting, if anything, and it's probably not a good thing even there, because you're probably just not going to get the donations if you report against anything Bill Gates doesn't want you to. So I find it very, very disturbing.
I mean, listen, I think here's the fundamental question or concern that I have looking at this is just to say, all right, that's obviously red flags. If you just looked at this in a vacuum and said, you got a very famous, very wealthy person, very involved in international affairs, very involved in international health affairs, and is giving away millions of dollars to the objective media to report, and is helping what stories to write, then those are red flags. So you want to look at a guy and be like, all right, are you beyond reproach? I think we can all comfortably say no when it comes to Bill Gates. He is not beyond reproach from a moral, ethical, or, I mean, even a humanitarian basis. Like, he's not. So if you start looking into the things of what they've done on those vaccine experiments in Africa, I don't mean COVID vaccines, I mean like other vaccines that they've been experimenting on in Africa for decades. People have died. You look at his involvement with funding research that has gone, let's go with very questionable. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't he involved in donating to the Beagle torture fund that Anthony Fauci had approved? Was that? I thought that they had sent money in on that study as well, but I could be mistaken. My bad, Bill, if you missed that one. So I guess it's, what do you need to start doubting this guy? Like, what would you have to see on? What would it take for people to, when he opens his mouth, just go?
I mean, listen, I think that crowd's as big as it's ever been.
Shut
so I'd like to take some, comfort knowing that he's being exposed pretty much on a daily basis here as not a humanitarian philanthropist, Goodwill nerd sweater guy kind of thing, that he's actually probably an evil piece of crap. So I don't know. He's just, again, hopefully over the next few weeks, that will become more and more prevalent a discussion for different reasons. But right now, his reasons are that he's basically buying the coverage that he wants, and it's convenient that I don't know. We'll see what happens with that divorce slash Jeffrey Epstein side discussion here we're going to have with Bill Gates, I guess. But let's switch a little bit to talk about COVID, our one and only, or not our favorite topic, but one from necessity. So I came across an article. Just a random article. This is nothing nothing news-shattering in the article other than, I'm just going to read it. The new number of new COVID-19 infections confirmed in Japan on Monday totaled 50, the lowest daily figure in 2021. For the first time, the number hit 50 or lower since June 22, 2020. So that's 50 total cases in the country of Japan. So I found that interesting only because they were in the middle of a big surge at the end of summer, early fall, where they started seeing a spike, and probably mid-August. And then we'll just note that. And now I will for objective sake say that this contention is contested. The idea that there was a press conference that came, and there was a doctor. Let me see if I can find his name here. I don't have it here, but he's here it is. Haruo Harao Ozaki. He's the chairman of the Tokyo Metropolitan Medical Association. I'm assuming that's a decent deal. I don't know anything about Tokyo Metropolitan Medical Association, but for the sake of argument, that's his title. He's the chairman. So he's in charge of something, and his quote was, "Now is the time to use ivermectin." And so this was when he came out. So this is what I would say is contested. So some people say that's not what he said, but they never actually say what he said. They just say he didn't say the translation that I'm reading. So I'm not sure what to
Or
make
they
of
said he
that.
said
But
it
even 2
back in,
days
like,
ago,
February.
Forbes came out, basically said, no, Japan didn't get saved by ivermectin. And then when you read the article, they don't actually say what he said that's any different than what I'm reading here. So the quote is, now is the time to use ivermectin, said chairman of Tokyo Metropolitan Medical Association. And he goes out. And so this was August 19th. But so on August 13th was when Japan supposedly had basically reduced the restrictions of doctors, medical staff, of using ivermectin, that they could do that if they wanted to on their own. And so, coinkydink, 12 days later, they peak out, and they've basically down to 50. And that article that I read to you was dated November 22nd, and they've basically been at 50, below 50 for basically almost a week now. So, large spike in COVID cases. Ivermectin's introduced. 12 days later, it peaks, and there's basically all but less than 100 cases 2 weeks after that. So more, at least anecdotal, if not confirmatory, evidence that ivermectin works. Why are we still fighting this? I don't understand why this is not just, why are they not just trying? I mean, I know why, but it seems as though the outrage should be making this more of a thing. Like, I know we're still winning lawsuits here in the United States. Majority of them are still won to allow medical freedom and allow people to be used to this. But the fact that it's still being challenged is disturbing, to say the least.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I guess here's the thing. I'm not 100% persuaded that ivermectin is a miracle drug that's curing people of COVID and it's working miracles. It seems like there's at least a chance. My argument all along continues to be there is such a minimal risk of harm and at least some potential for good. Like, if it's not doing good, man, it's a hell of a coincidence when they keep using it and these people keep getting better really fast. Like, it's just a heck of a coincidence. So if you have zero risk and unbelievable upside, why are we not allowing doctors to make that call with their patients? And I hear from doctors like, I would never prescribe it. Like, cool.
Right.
I don't care. Like, my thing is not that. Mine is you should be able to make the decision along with your patient. And if your patient really wants it and you just outright refuse, then I hope they fire you and go get a new doctor. And that's fine. Like, that's the way that this should work. And instead we sit here and pretend like it's toxic, and we have ERs that can't treat gunshot victims because there's so many ivermectin poisoning cases. Turned out to be zero, but whatever. It's just remarkable.
Yeah, the countermeasures are the story around ivermectin, right? It's, if ivermectin was just a thing, like, I don't even think it would be that story. If people just like, oh yeah, let's try this, whatever, and it worked out, and okay, and like, I don't think it would be nice, but I don't think it would be portrayed as a miracle drug. I don't think right now it's just weird that there's such a pushback against it when you point out it's one of the safest drugs ever distributed to mankind. So, again, the pushback is the story. It's not really the ivermectin being the story. I mean, if it's beneficial and helps people, then obviously it's a huge story. But right now, the story is the fact that nobody can talk about the story. Like, that's the story, which is just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so weird of how many anecdotal stories do you need to hear? And I get the idea of like, well, we want proof. Okay, but it's a pandemic, and this is, for whatever reason, and maybe we don't understand exactly why yet, some people are responding very, very well to ivermectin. Maybe it is just the placebo effect. I don't know. Or maybe there's some part of their body that we're not understanding why yet, but it's working, and it's causing harm in virtually zero people. Why are we not doing this? Like, if this is something where people are there, why would you not use it? And that's what I still don't grasp, and is
right. That's
going to make
that's the thing that raises
sense.
red flags to me. I wouldn't know anything about ivermectin if there wasn't just this coordinated effort to squash all conversation about it, right? I mean, I wouldn't have known anything about it if it wasn't for that, which is crazy. Since everybody should know about it. And, let's just piggyback that on. So another thing that turns out that, you weren't allowed to talk to, or you got banned, or you got, like Zero Hedge got their Twitter account taken down for months because they suggested that the Wuhan virology lab may have leaked the coronavirus, or it may have come from a lab and maybe a man-made virus. And it turns out, Mr. Hussong, I think I sent you this. I don't know if I did or not. I'm sorry if I didn't. Leaked U.S. government documents show Wuhan scientists were studying viral strain found in bats, which is near identical to COVID-19 and latest lab leak evidence. So they found that the Wuhan Institute of Virology was studying coronaviruses found in bats from Laos in the months before the outbreak. And the genetic code is basically 96.8% identical with SARS-CoV-2. Smoking gun, Mr. Hussong? Smoking gun?
I mean, listen, I'm not going to pretend to be smart enough, scientifically speaking, to tell you, yes, it seems like a smoking gun, but
it seems that, smoking gun's probably strong, but all of the evidence for anybody still to be like, well, the most likely it came from natural, mutations. Like, no, it's not. That's not the most likely scenario. The most likely scenario is this thing was leaked from a lab. But the only question is when and if it was done on purpose or not, right? I mean, that's the only two questions left in my mind anyway.
Yeah, and I think here's the other half. We know definitively at this point, we were funding gain-of-function research at the Wuhan Virology Lab through the EcoHealth Alliance. Like, it's just the truth. Anthony Fauci lied to Congress. There's no question about that.
Well, what depends on what lied means.
They're playing this semantics game, which is just wonderful. It is reminiscent of Bill Clinton, and it depends on your definition of the word is. I just, for the life of me, I don't know why we're even still debating this. Like, yes, we funded gain-of-function research. We funded some horrific experiments on dogs, on orphans, on God knows what else, because we're just tapping into it. And yet people have spent the last 2 years living under such stress and such fear that they can't come to the conclusion of, hey, Anthony Fauci's a scumbag.
Yeah.
He's just not a good person. Sorry. Like, I know that he's your savior and he was your guiding light through all of this. He's not a good person. Like, this is why you don't meet your heroes, because it turns out they suck. Yeah. And he sucks more than most.
People should still yearn to meet me and you, Ben. We're both heroes.
We're nobody's heroes, so yes, people should meet us. That's why we're okay to.
Yeah, and speaking of the funding, EcoHealth Alliance is right in the middle of this whole thing. So they're the ones who was helping investigate the bat viruses. I mean, that's the company that Fauci was funding, and they in turn funded the Wuhan virology lab. So all the dots are connected here. It's really just a question about just basically finding out the starting point, right? Who did it and when. I think that's the only thing that's left.
I mean, I think that we already know that, though. And here's the other part of this. If this wasn't the case and China could come out with the evidence right now that says, here's the exact structure that followed, we found the animal, et cetera, we'd have all that. We don't, because it's not how it happened. I'm not sure what to tell you here, guys. We don't have it because, well, the only evidence that we're missing is what you said, the how and the where. The only place that would be available is through the Communist Party of China. And they have neglected to release it. And in case that wasn't already telling enough, that is, I don't want to say infer or implication of guilt just by not coming up with the data that you had for no good decided not to share. You also decided to have an investigation from the World Health Organization, and you put the guy from Health Alliance on the investigation team, the guy that already has a vested interest that this cannot possibly come back to us. You let him investigate it. He was the lead investigator.
Science.
And I'm supposed to go like, science.
All right. Yeah. We are in crazy times. All right. My graphic's not going to work, but we should move on to, let's talk about the Omicron. Is that how am I saying it right? Have you done any Greek studies in your day and have decided to help me out with the pronunciation? Omicron, is that right?
I mean, I think that I have the exact same familiarity with the Greek alphabet as every college age.
Okay.
Who was at one point of college.
I'm going to use Omicron unless somebody corrects me.
So it's not it's not vast.
The world is shutting down over the new variant. This is it, right? Everybody's literally everybody latched on to this variant. I read let me pull this up here. So I read a statement by the doctor who basically sounded the alarm, if you will, that there was this new variant. Dr. Angelique Kurtzi, I can't remember how to pronounce her name. She's again, South African. She's from the South African Medical Association. So she was the first person to kind of, hey, I'll backtrack a little bit. So on, I guess, November 17th, 18th, they started seeing cases being differently. They started noticing that there was a rise after seeing a pretty much flat, plateaued of case thing. They started seeing a little bit of a spike. So, and the people who were getting it were younger. So this was new to them. They basically found out that they are dealing with a new variant, the Omicron variant. On its announcement, the world basically went into panic mode. I'm not sure if this was a direct correlation to the date of the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, but I wouldn't put it past the powers that be to make sure that there was a new variant ahead of that trial. But here we are. What I found interesting from Dr. Kurtzi, she basically, her quote is something like, I'm not sure why everybody's up in arms about this variant, and that she's only seeing very mild cases, and that was her words, very mild cases. She said they were mostly in young people, and that the symptoms were basically headaches and being extremely tired. So, and achy, and body aches. So,
and achy.
Very mild symptoms, almost no hospitalizations. Younger people, those that we have seen, no deaths, and we have seen that
Zero deaths.
This has not caused any kind of problems in South Africa. She just acknowledged that there was a new variant. The variant, I don't know, must have been just, I don't know, must have in the target audience group must have rated really well Omicron as a scare tactic, because the whole world took note, including right here in New York, Mr. Hussong, our governor. The governor, Kathy Hochul, basically falling in line as her predecessor, Andrew Cuomo. They're both tyrants of epic proportion here. Decided to put out or at least declare a state of emergency for the state of New York. Though we have not had a single Omicron virus detected in the whole state as of right now, but we are in a state of emergency, which basically is somewhat of a theatrical move, I think, but it allows her to have some additional authority and opens up some resources for her in a real sense. But here we are. We're panicking over another variant that seems to be, by all indications, mild, and everybody recovers from. But it sounds scary, and they're getting breakthrough cases too. It's not like it's things that we've all known about all the other things. And the doctor actually said, she goes, it's so mild that she goes, this has probably been in other countries and nobody even just realized it because it was so mild. And here we are, state of emergency. We're in a clown world, Mr. Hussong. We're in a clown world.
I mean, if there's anybody you want to give more power to, it is the woman who called on us to be her vaccine apostles and told us that the vaccine was straight from God, and that our job was to go and do God's will and tell others about the vaccine, because that person seems totally well connected with reality. So we should definitely give her more power. That can only end well. I mean, just to summarize, if I might, in very, very terse or condensed fashion, there's a new variant. It does not seem to be overly present around the world right now. There are a few areas where it is. It is a milder strain of the virus, causing very little risk of hospitalization and causing a lower risk of death, ostensibly, from what we've seen far. Now, could that change? Yes, but this is where we are right now. So naturally, what our leaders do is panic. Is start slamming the bucket with the shovel, running around telling everybody that we've got to get back in our holes because, oh my God, there's a new variant. And if you're like, well, is this variant more deadly? We don't know. Well, do you have any data on it? Well, yeah, so far, no, but we don't know if that could change. Like, oh, okay, is it going to make people sicker? No, it's just going to, more people are going to get it. Okay. What are the symptoms? Kind of like a mild cold. Mild cold. Oh, so not big hospitalization risk, symptomatic of a mild cold, and no increased risk of death compared to what we're already dealing with. Yes. And your answer to that is panic.
Yeah, that's that. Well, like I said, generating fear is really the only thing that our government and our media do well. And so, they're kind of like the hammer and everything's a nail. So they're just creating fear at literally every turn they possibly can. Remember the murder hornets?
I know.
Remember the murder hornets?
It's amazing to watch.
It was such a peaceful time during the murder hornets aspect. And we talked about this.
Skipped right over
when
them,
the
like
Delta variant was coming around. So variants tend to be one of two things: either much more deadly, or as they mutate, they become one of two things. They become more deadly, which usually kills off their host quicker, and then they die out, or they become less deadly, more contagious, so that that this is the virus. They're trying to survive, so they're not trying to kill their host, because when their host dies, they die, and if they can just keep the host alive, but allow themselves to replicate inside the host without, the host doing anything about it, the virus is going to survive and spread and do more. So these viruses tend to become less potent, if you will, and more contagious a little bit, because that's how evolution would work. And here we are. We're dealing with the same exact thing that we were discussing months ago with this brand new variant. It's crazy.
We've nothing. And this is just further evidence that all politicians have is the capacity to scare you into submission, because they're counting on your ignorance so that they can get. And let's talk about what ignorance is necessary here. Hey, Shawn, why are we at a shortage of?
They're trying to keep us safe. They're trying to keep us safer, Mr. Hussong,
right now
by getting rid of those pesky, heathen, unclean nurses and medical staff who helped us last year.
The heroes that went in every single day for 18 months and took care of COVID patients on the front lines, and then decided, well, I don't want to get a vaccine because this doesn't make sense to me. I haven't gotten COVID, and I've been doing this for this long. And we said, well, you're fired because you're an idiot and you don't understand science or medicine. Oh. Well, aren't we bold? So we fired, 15% hospital staff and like 25 to 30% of nursing home staff. And now we're worried about overwhelming hospitals. I got a great idea for a first step that could help alleviate that concern. Maybe we could allow those to get their jobs back.
No? Talk to your girl Hochul.
She's going to listen. You're my vaccine.
I don't know.
What the heck was the word?
Yes.
Apostles. Vaccine apostles. I need to be my vaccine apostle.
I think a lot of people had suggested that she was going to be worse than Cuomo, but she has definitely lived up to that billing. So, she just doesn't grab asses. That's the only thing that she's
I
not
can't
doing.
believe how much worse she is.
Well, that's true, I guess. She could be.
You don't know that. Don't sell her short.
Wonder if she need.
God, just take away the woman just because she's not a man, she can't grab a little ass.
As a male bartender in a winery once, I know what you're talking about. So anything else we want to talk about this Omicron? Obviously everybody is talking about it. Everybody's trying to lock up. people are shutting their borders. Australia's got the Omicron and somehow they don't even let people in, right? So what the hell's going on here? So, did you hear that they literally had somebody took out from South Africa? I think they landed in the Netherlands or something, and they made him sit on the plane for like 3 hours because the announcement came mid-flight or some shit. They were basically like, oh no, we got a plane full of Omicron landing in our airport, and they basically made him sit on the tarmac for 3 hours. Like, we're in a literal clown world. It's crazy. All these people had to fly. They all had to go through the protocols to get on the plane, but in the mid-plane, they make an announcement, and all of a sudden they're heathens. That's such wacky. It's freaking wacky.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go. Let's wrap up the show here with the story of all stories. I'm guessing if you're listening to the show, you're probably well aware that Ghislaine Maxwell, her trial has started today. I tried to call in. The call-in feature is no longer working, Mr. Hussong, so that was only for the jury selection. You cannot do it for the main trial. There was a request made, even citing Omicron as a reason for the necessity of a call-in app for the public, and still turned away by the by the judge. So no call-in app for the public. I would have loved to listen to that. I would have literally not done the show all day and just piped that live streamed that recording into the show for the hour. So, but here we are. We have Ghislaine Maxwell, as you guys all know, the terrible human being who helped Jeffrey Epstein. Basically, she was the procurer of young girls and also engaged in these acts with Jeffrey Epstein. She is facing multiple counts. I'm going to read them for you here. Count 1, conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal sex acts. Count 2, enticement of a minor to travel to engage in illegal sex acts. Count 3, conspiracy to transport minors with an intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. Count 4, transportation of a minor with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. Count 5, sex trafficking conspiracy. Count 6, sex trafficking of a minor. Count 7 and 8 are perjury stemming from an allegedly false deposition testimony during a civil suit that of Virginia Giuffre when she sued her for defamation. So she's got 2 perjury counts as well. So the worst of the worst of the worst. We all know that Jeffrey Epstein never made it to trial. Ghislaine Maxwell's defense largely says that because that Jeffrey Epstein never made it to trial, that she's being used as a proxy for his trial, which, you know, whatever. She has, you know, tried to get the thing thrown out. This thing has been delayed. This thing has been, you know, she's lawyered up. She's got endless money, and she's basically going to use every last penny of it to keep herself alive or hopes of ever getting free again. But the trial starts today. I'm expecting, I guess, opening arguments are probably completed. That the judge said they were going to be completed by 1. Obviously, we've been on the show here for an hour, and I have not paid attention to that. But I've been waiting for this trial for a long time, but I'm not sure that I really want to go through it after all, Mr. Hussong. Did I lose you? Looks like I lost Mr. Hussong altogether. So I guess that's just me talking about Ghislaine Maxwell. So you guys know, I mean, she's literally probably the worst person on the planet. And I don't have high expectations for evidence to come out of this trial that will take down co-conspirators and other big names. I mean, you know, we can list the names, and we kind of hinted at Bill Gates earlier in this segment. But, I mean, you can go down, you know, there was Jean-Luc Brunel is in jail. He was the fashion mogul guy. Several bigwig, Leon Black, Glenn Dubin, and Jess Daly, all recently or within the last year or so, all resigned from high-powered financial positions because of their relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. And we know about the politicians. You know, the Bill Clinton, the Donald Trump, both are been highlighted by both sides. And the fact that Jeffrey Epstein was in the circles of so many people of power and what he was doing with these underage girls in basically keeping company with these powerful people has made it pretty obvious that he was using those girls as blackmail on those powerful people, and to what end, we don't know. So I do believe that we will get some information from this trial. I'm not expecting bombshell after bombshell because I don't expect Ghislaine to flip or do anything like that. So I think she's going to basically try to save herself as long as she can and save the operation more than anything, because pretty sure that it doesn't stop with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. I'm sure there's somebody else out there, and we can name names like Lex Wexner, who was part of the early development of this operation, and all the people that we just named. It is not, like I said, I've been looking forward to the trial because I want justice to be done, but I'm not looking forward to the trial because it's going to bring up all the terrible, evil acts that these two people did. And the bigger thing on top of all that, which is already obviously disgusting, is the fact that our intelligence agencies knew, and they've known for decades. They've known for as long, I mean, literally known that underage girls were being used as bribes or blackmail material for some of the most powerful people in the world that did nothing about it. So we talked about the FBI for other reasons being disbanded. This is the crowning jewel of the reason for them to not exist. I mean, they've known about this Jeffrey Epstein and what his terrible, evil do's of the last 30 years and have done nothing about it. The FBI is the one who raided the Jeffrey Epstein estate in Manhattan and took all the videos and all the tapes and all the pictures, all the blackmail material, and nothing has come of it. Nothing has come of it. They've seen the videos and nothing has come of it. So I don't have any faith that the authorities, the FBI, the prosecutors, even the federal government will ever find justice. But if we can get enough of this stuff out into the public, then those people will go away. They'll probably never reach or be served justice. These evildoers, these co-conspirators, as they're called. It's literally one of the worst. It's the worst story involving basically human beings that of my lifetime and probably of anybody else's lifetime. It's literally a most terrible story. So we will surely be keeping you up to date as the trial moves ahead. This is only day one. I will try to give updates daily if I can through the SCAPP Facebook page. So pay attention there if you want to get some updates. I will definitely forward on any newsworthy points that come out through our Facebook page and social media. So keep an eye on there if you want to get some updated information. I'll be paying attention to this pretty much. The judge says they expect this to last about 5-6 weeks. So I'll be paying attention to it every day while it's going on. So hopefully you will too. Hopefully you will share that news with this trial. And like I said, hopefully some justice gets done here, gets served. And because those victims, you can say it's great that, they're getting compensated financially, but I mean, their lives are never the same. They've never been the same and they never will be. So excuse me, on that note, let me remind everybody again to like and share this video. Again, we'll be up to giving updates on this trial pretty much on a daily basis. So please follow along on our social media account, either on Twitter or on Facebook. If you're listening to this audio version, I didn't remind you guys and hassle you guys earlier, but make sure to leave a rate and review. That helps us get moved up into the searches. And if you want to get notified when you get new videos, make sure you hit that subscription and hit that notification bell to do so. And until next Monday, we hope to have Mr. Hussong back in studio next Monday, live and in person. And until then, have a great week and